ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General Yohana. We will be live on the streets, 91.9 FM.
From west to the death till they bury me.
Every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Sawapya Allah and Officer Makwaya.
West to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets, 91.9 FM.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one west. They're one west. They're one west. They're
Chiago did it.
tough to leave.
I got some change for you. Go on real quick.
Yeah, Z. You know the chop. Ayazahab. Badness no sir. Let me tell you how the badness steer. Dopey bad fly when the clock display. Tell a boy say no try box this face. Back switch face. You know how your blood clot casket stay boy. You must see one Baptist prayer. When the map stick raise that big straight. Shot misplaced. The key them in your head stop misbehave. Crack his face. The key never tell us we lock this place. Which locksmith anyway watch this space. War with them bunny like plastic plate. Hey, we don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We no take drape up. We no take beat up, we no stay up. And when the next day come, we no change up. Man, I act them bad as them wake up. Take care, boss boy, head top shake up. So tell a pussy hold down, violate us. No care where you status, where you take up. Every man a killer till miss a dead face, you straight up. Great stuff, one Westling bigger than NATO. Man we boss it to NATO. Only man we afraid of, that are the creator, the maker. Hey, we don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15 and AR rounds. AR-15s and AR rounds. AR-15s and let me tell you how the badness steer. Dopey bad fly when the clock display. Tell a boy say no try box this face. Back switch face. You know how your blood clot gasket stay boy. You must see one Baptist prayer. When the map stick raise that lick straight. Shot misplaced. The teeth them in your head stop misbehave. Crack his face. The key never tell us we lock this place. Which locksmith anyway watch this space. War with them bunny like plastic plate. We don't play around. When you see the UPK around, we bring the fucking AK around. AR-15s and AR rounds.
You know, and continue on, on that same topic, right? Because there's, some things that need to be highlighted, right? And the importance of it being highlighted should bring clarity for what, the minds of our brothers and sisters, need to understand and know that we are not, African, right?
Right, so we're going to continue from the last week when we were here, right? We was reading from the book, from Babylon to Timbuktu, right? So we're going to continue from there and give you a little more insight that Black people are not African, native African, right? So we're going to read from Babylon to Timbuktu. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. That's like yes, take it. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. Cancel. And what we read in here, right, is history that this brother Rudolph R. Windsor, you understand, had recorded during his research. And this is actually a prophecy in the Bible. You understand, in the book of Luke. You understand, where Christ prophesied that when we see Jerusalem compassed with armies, know that the desolation thereof is nigh. What does he mean that the desolation thereof is nigh? Letting you know that destruction is going to come to this people. Destruction is going to come to this nation. You understand? We're going to pull that scripture in the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh, meaning destruction is coming to the nation of Israel. Destruction is coming to these people from the Romans. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. Flee into the mountains, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man listening. That was speaking about Africa. We fled from in Jerusalem into Africa. You understand? Continuing from verse 21, and let not them which are in the countries enter therein. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written must be fulfilled.
Right. So, and in this prophecy, we see our king making mention of what is going to take place in the future.
Okay.
Right. And this being said was a reminder unto the people in Jerusalem at that time that when they see these signs, they should take heed to it.
Right.
We are here today, in this studio, and bringing this reminder to our brothers and sisters that anything that you find that is not sitting right, you should seek, and know what is going on around you.
Right.
This is why the ISUPK under commanding General Yahana, bringing out this truth since 1969 as a reminder to so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, their recorded history.
Right.
We read out of our recorded history and bring these reminders because we were reminded as well. So we see our king reminding, our brothers and sisters at that time, right? And we see the fulfillment of this prophecy coming to pass where we fled into where?
Into Africa.
Into Africa, right? So we're holding.
We're going to when we was in Africa.
All right, go ahead.
We're going to read from the book of Babylon to Timbuktu again, continuing. Right, this is page 90. The black Jews. Listen to what he's saying again. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes, which will be the native Africans. They carried their culture, which means those black Jews, when they fled to Africa, they carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them. This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the obnoxious population, meaning we wasn't absorbed into the native African population with their culture and their ways. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes, meaning that when we fled into Africa, these Africans started to like our culture, started to like our way. You understand? The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people in the Jewish Ghanaian states who found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leather workers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturalists, etc. Which goes to show that when we fled from Jerusalem into Africa, our people wasn't what they portrayed to us. This propaganda they portrayed as black people being, we wearing, we don't have the correct clothes to wear. You understand? We dusty, we bushy, we ashy. No. When we left Jerusalem and flee into Africa, this was a thriving nation. You understand? Whereby these native Africans started to follow our ways. You understand? Salakia, sir.
Right. So we see, what Osama Park just brought out, is like a lineup of what would, have any economy in some sort of stability.
Right.
Right. And we see that when we were left at a point in time, I know anybody know the history of Black Wall Street, it brought some sort of stability, to the house or to black people, where we had all these that were listed out there, you know, in having Black Wall Street to be thriving. And as we say, our oppressors was no part of it. The Africans were not even part of that as well, right? Okay, go ahead.
Can. And just to add a little bit to what you're saying, right? If you could read Revelation chapter 9, chapter 2 and verse 9, you understand? It goes to show also where the Jews that is in Israel right now, they are not the true Jews according to the Bible.
Right.
Book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Right? Which goes to show that these people that is in Israel right now, that is wearing these black hats and have the little ponytail on the side, they are not the true Jews. You understand? Because remember, we read that we fled from Africa into Israel. Israel became a nation, or that Jewish state in 1948. You understand? You could go back and check on the history on that. That is common knowledge. You understand? So these people across there, Christ is letting us know that they are not the true Jews, but they are what? The synagogue of Satan, this house of a people that carry a certain spirit. You understand? The spirit of Satan.
Right. So seeing that, that they carry that spirit, right? This is something that, we should be reminded of as well. That we are not, to take on that spirit, right? We are not to take on that spirit, right? Go ahead.
Can. And also too, there's a little article from a history book that we're going to read also, you understand? Because these historians, they did their homework, you understand, on their accord. But when you read these things, you're going to understand that they also understood that there was a difference between native Africans and Negroes in the North, Central, and South America. You understand? That was scattered by the transatlantic slave trade. Right? So we're going to read a little bit from this book called The Black Image in the White Mind. You understand? It was a debate on Afro-American character and their destiny, right? So now we're going to read a little bit about from page 74 to 75. In the 1840s, Morton collaborated with George R. Gliddon, an Egyptologist. You understand? So Morton and George, they were Egyptologists. They were what they will call those people who do cranial works. You understand? Anthropologists and osteologists. They will do the work on human skull remains. You understand? So they came together to do some research, right? So in the 1840s, Morton collaborated with George R. Gliddon, an Egyptologist, who provided him with mummy heads and information about the racial significance of Egyptian tomb inscriptions. In Crania Aegyptiaca, published in 1844, Morton pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that Egyptians were not Negroes. So when they compared the skulls from in Egypt contrast to the skulls in America, they came to realize that the skulls in Egypt and America were two totally different skulls, two totally separate people. You understand? And we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to realize that what is being pushed on us for all these years from our generation, you understand? Because our great grandparents and parents before them, they died believing that they were African. You understand? Remember when we came over here as captives, as slaves, we lost everything. These things were whipped out from us. Our culture, our history, our laws. You understand? And then the propaganda was pushed on us whereby we can't put a distinct mark between the captain and the captives, which is the native Africans and the Negroes. You understand, Salakia, sir?
Right. So, again, the AI anymore.
That's it for now.
All right.
Okay.
So what, again, the brother just went into was, a short, brief history of, where it was on the right, and it shows again a difference, right? And I believe it have a scripture say that the Lord make a difference between us and the Egyptians.
Okay.
You know which father is our
Exodus
right?
11 and 7.
Right. So if you could pull that, just to highlight and to make it known that everything that we talk about, it line up directly with what we speaking about here this evening, right?
Okay. The book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel.
Right. So why it say against any? Is that anything that you already have or to add there?
Now, you could go up to verse 6 if you want.
All right, go ahead. Go up to verse
Just to get a backdrop on it.
Right.
And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore.
Right. And this is talking about the time where after Egypt was plagued,
Right.
with curses that was brought from the Lord, and through the brother, who the Most High God, had given these instructions to bring, to the forefront or the fore minds of brothers and sisters, and as reminders that they should be, reminded that we as a people should, adhere to these instructions and not join with these, African people or these nations that or from the sons at Ham.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Right. And that highlight, it went straight into, a point that need and would and that would always be mentioned, when we speak to brothers and sisters, and we tell brothers and sisters this, predominantly again, black people. But when we say black people, we talk about the 12 tribes. But a lot of our brothers would always look, at skin tone or complexion, right? This draw a direct, separation to show that the Most High God had separated us from who? Read it one more time.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Anybody just heard what they were identified as? They were identified as dogs. They were identified as, a beast that is of a low class, rather than being equal counterpart with a people who the Most High God had chosen. This is why when he said, they should not speak ill or speak, anything that would bring or bring into, let me say, into disrepute or into, any sort of, let me say, derogatory phrases or slang that would slander the name of these people. They should be careful. This is why we would always warn, these other races or, these other nations are people that they should be careful what they, use or phrases that they use to call black people. Because why? The Lord, it wouldn't sit right with the Lord because the Lord chose us to be a special people unto himself.
Right.
Right? So as we remind brothers and sisters, yes, Salakia, just take this call, right? Just a reminder to the callers, them that calling in, right? We have other, brothers and sisters. Remember your brothers and sisters, as well, that they would like to ask questions or make comments as well, right?
Right. I know people go there.
Go ahead.
Can. And if I could add a little bit to what you're saying also too, you understand, we as a people have to understand that the laws of the Most High was given to us, you understand, by Moses. So it's given to specific people, the children of Israel. You understand? But Moses always used to be saying, when he given us the Lord, speak unto the children of Israel. The Lord telling Moses, speak unto the children of Israel. Moses gave us these laws. You understand? And when you read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6, you understand? It also shows that separation between us and all these other nations. If I could, Baba Kusha. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. You understand? Holy means separate or kodash in the Hebrew. The Lord is telling us that we are separate people. We are holy people. You understand? The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You understand? So these Israelites, these Hebrew Israelites, these Jews, you understand, were chosen to be a separate people, a holy people. What made us holy and separate? Because we have a different culture, a different way of life. You understand? Above all these other nations. The way how we do things is totally separate to how these nations will do things as they gather together.
Right. So, and again, it's very important as well, right? Anything else?
Now, that's it for me on that. It's still getting the same. Right? So, kind of cancel. So as we going on in the show, right? You understand that the Lord made blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be separate. You understand? We have have our own laws, our own culture, our own history. You understand? And one of the things that we have to follow, you understand, is called the laws of the Most High. And in our laws, we have something called a dietary law,
Right.
where the Lord showed us what was food and what was not food, things that we should eat and things that we shouldn't eat. You understand? Seeing that the hunting season just opened yesterday. You understand? Many of our brothers will be going into the bushes to hunt what we will call so-called wild meat. You understand? But some of the things that they come out from their hunt is not according to what the Lord wants for us as a people to eat.
Right.
You understand? Because these things, if you don't have the knowledge of it or the understanding of certain of these beasts that we come out of the bush with, you understand? It gives us a lot of diseases, you understand? And complications later on in life that will cause us as a people also to sin against the Most High. You understand?
Right.
Good, Baba Kusha. Go ahead.
So again, what we're going to go into is the dietary law. And where you'll find this law, it is recorded in the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter. And, throughout the book of Leviticus, even as mentioned, that the first, 5 books of our recorded history, have, let me say, laws where we as a family would be given these laws during that time period where these laws would be imparted onto the generations that would come after, right? So that's why when we look back from that period of time, after, the passing of Moses, Joshua continued on, right? This is why it's in the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and 8, right? It says, read out of the book of the laws, right? So from that time on, he continued on, with the inheritance that was taught to him by his forefathers. Moses being, a big brother at that time, continued on, and these laws were passed, to the nation as
Right.
reminders. This is why, we always like to draw reference, like today. Knowing these laws today, it 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 revives, something that was dead. And why it revives something that was dead? Because you being dead to this, as we say, to this place with its customs, its laws, everything that would destroy, the spirit or the soul of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, it could be revived today.
Right.
And this is why when we go to, the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter, there were laws that were put there for a specific purpose to bring the reminder unto us, right?
Okay. Right, before we go into the book of Leviticus, just a reminder to the listening audience, number to call is 342-0081, 466-5391, or 771-1791. Right, so we go into the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right, and so right about this, and what make it stand out, especially today. It was, the Most High God, where everybody claimed that, that he loved everyone. He was directly speaking to a specific family.
Right.
Because now this family would end up doing what? One thing, teaching everyone else. This is why, again, the platform that we are on right now is to bring the reminder to the listening audience,
right,
or to the public, but more so to who? The so-called blacks, Latinos, or Native Indians. You feel these doctors, in these institutions don't understand and know this? Why I think a lot of, what we're going to read about shortly, they don't serve in hospitals.
Right.
Not because it's expensive, because now of research that was done by who? By the physician. Scriptures honor what? Honor the physician. These physicians know very well that by following these instructions, it would mean well with them. But in order for them to follow it or to keep it, it must be taught by whom? Who the Lord had chosen.
Right.
This is why, again, we read in Exodus 7, not a dog shall move his what? Tongue against who? Against us. So you speak ill against us. What would happen? Now you walk after your own customs, your own ways. This is why when you see all the sicknesses and all the diseases that plagiarize, as we say, the earth today, is because of the the bleed to not following these instructions.
Right.
Right?
Book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right? So you see how it starts off? To speak unto who? Unto this family, unto this house,
right,
the children of Israel. Because why? Black people, as you say, black people, say black people like the belly.
Right.
We like to eat. And just as you mentioned concerning, the opening of the hunting season, we know that all brothers and sisters just go on a rampant, or as we say, on a rampage of running down after these, certain wild meat.
Right.
And we are here again to highlight. Don't feel that we were we were once in that, as you say, in that space or in that mindset where we partake and participate on it. But knowing that what we read here now, there was a warning unto us. It's like the Most High God, showing mercy and telling us, you as a son or a daughter, hey, stop doing that.
Right.
A father would always, give warning before what any, let me say, any punishment come into action, right? So, say, speak unto who? Unto the children of Israel, and let them know these are the beasts that that you should eat, right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. Whatsoever parted the hoof and is cloven footed and chewed the cud among these beasts, that shall he eat.
Right? So it made, specific, and direct instructions. It didn't change. Not way, as we say, where religion come about. And, as there's a favorite line that they always like to use, pray and eat. It didn't say that here.
Right.
It gives you direct instructions. It must be what?
Cloven footed
And
chew the cud.
and chew the cud. It must have these two in order for it to be what? Clean or lawful.
Right? Order for it to be food. So like I say, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Understand? The cloven footed is speaking about like how a cattle foot will look, or a goat's foot. Yeah, that is cloven footed. And chewing the cud, right? It will be that animal will be regurgitating what it eats. You understand? So like small ruminants and large ruminants, animals like goat, sheep, you understand, cattle. Yeah, these is the things that the Lord saying we as a people we should eat. You understand? These things is food.
Right.
You understand? So like yes, sir.
Right.
Continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 4. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that defy the hoof, as the camel, which he chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean to you.
And also, right in this is just like today, any form of teaching that you would, or any institution that they would attend, they would always use examples or have examples. Now we look in our records and we see they follow after the same order of bringing or highlighting examples, what they should do and what they shouldn't do.
Right.
So what we have learned, in being in this school, in the Israelite School, a Universal and Practical Knowledge, or the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yana, is to impart or bring this food, or to bring it to the simplest format where brothers and sisters could do what? Could understand.
Right.
And if they, still have a doubt, we tell brothers and sisters this all the time. Ask that question. This is why when you draw reference to the number on as you say, on the board, is to let brothers and sisters know, as we say, or Venezuelan or brothers Asha, you as well could call in onto the program to ask questions as well. Don't feel that that you are part of this house, you are part of this family as well. So feel free, to call in. If as you say, you're so-called Venezuelan, living in Trinidad, you are from the tribe of Asha. Right? You are brothers. Right? Feel free to call into the program, because this, what we're speaking about, is a reminder to this house, to this family. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the coney, because he chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean to you.
Right? So it gives you some, as you say, it just examples of some of these animals that we shouldn't eat, despite it have one of what we read in the in labeling, what is clean to us or what we should eat. These animals only bear one of the two.
It must have the combination. So like I said.
So what after that?
Must have the combination of both chewing the cud and the hoof divided, or the foot divided.
Right.
You understand? So like if I may just add, a little bit of what you're saying, when we're talking about the coney and the hair, you understand? Those are the rabbit, and the family after the rabbit. These things, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, these things are not food. You understand? These things are not for us to eat. So now when we looking at them, we saying, wild meat. We're looking for wild meat and we're going behind rabbit and these things. These things, so-called black man, these things are not for you to be consuming. You understand? Continue, Baba Kusha.
Yeah, and just a reminder to brothers and sisters, right, to, check out our webpage, right? We have our upcoming, food and clothing drive. Right? Stay tuned,
Right.
to our webpage, when the information, would be, passed out, right? Again, we have our school location is number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. The number to call is 479-8286, right? Anything that is needed, make sure, not make sure and call, because we were once in that position.
Right.
And seeking truth, there's always something within the black man, the Hispanic man, and when I'm talking about black, I'm talking about women or women as well, that resonate inside of us, is like, nah, I ain't gonna say nothing now. I go. But don't wait to the point where you would be in, let me say, you're back against the wall. Still call.
Right.
Still call. Because you belong to a family, you belong to a house. And the school has, portrayed and demonstrated to the high, or as you say, to the highest level of, showing that, hey, black people are coming together today.
Right.
The sons, as we say, sons of Jacob, sons of Israel, they are coming together today. And when I say the sons, the seed that came out of their loins continue to thrive and continue to understand or be reminded that they belong to a house or a family that have laws, statutes, and commandments.
Okay.
And they should follow them and adhere to them. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Right, I just jumping through.
Yeah.
Just for the little time, we're going on to the mouse, the lizard, the people. Right?
Right.
And the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 29. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth, the weasel and the mouse and the tortoise and up after his kind.
Right. And and you see why mentioning after its kind, because just like we would use, let me use the example of the lion and the tiger. They are cats, but they are two different type of cats, but they are what? Cats. So what we read about here is these animals, they would have similar animals that would look similar to them.
That same family line.
Same family line. And where this comes straight back to? It comes straight back to what we was just reading or breaking down concerning we are not Africans.
Right.
Though we might look the same or have, let me say, a similar tone complexion,
Right.
that doesn't mean to say we are the same, family.
Yeah.
We share different, views and opinions. We do serve, idols. We do serve, things that would bring, the name of the Most High God into disrepute.
Right.
Because not everybody would always, or these nations would always highlight their God. But now, behind that, what they would portray as a God, the image, I'd say, or some figure where they would, bow to worship. And we would remind, our brothers and
Right.
sisters that they had prophets at old that were given instruction to go and to remove these things, or as the scripture say, break it down. Because the confusion that it would cause, look at what is taking place right now in the earth, as you say, currently, confusion.
If I may just add a bit, when they say into the fact that, we have our own rules, we have our own laws, you understand? Remember when we came from slavery, we adapted to the other nations and their culture because we lost ours. You understand? When you read here in Leviticus chapter 29, and it speak about the weasel and the mouse, you understand? The tortoise. The mouse, we don't eat that. You understand? These things is after another nation. When you look at the Chinese, for example, you understand? You say that they will eat the mouse, you understand? And the tortoise and these different things. But for black people who was given these laws, the true Jews, we are not supposed to be eating the mouse, you understand? Or after its kind. After its kind would be like what we will call locally the manikou. You understand? We're not supposed to be eating that. These things are not food. You understand? This next thing that came across, the capybara.
Right.
You understand that the saying is additional. These things are rodents.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When you do your history or the research on it, you'll understand these things are rodents. And the Most High, through his wisdom, you understand? People know that these things is not food for us to eat. That's right. You understand? But they know so-called, how we just say, we Trinidad, they probably seasoning it and it's good.
Yeah.
But according to the Lord, you understand? These things are abomination to him.
Seasoning
You understand?
save you from any sickness, any disease
that
it come upon you. Because now when that come upon you now you know what you do. They institute what they have, at present,
right,
to not bring warning or enlighten the people or the public on a whole, that if you eat this you can compromise the health condition.
Okay.
And what we be telling brothers and our family, or telling Trinidad and Tobago, that if you partake or patronate in eating of this, like, even it will compromise the health condition. This is why, again, with the plague that the Lord had brought forth, and a lot of people thought, that despite, they would say that it came from a lab or man. One thing they forgot: the Lord is the one who, would move the minds of men to do what? Just what we see in there, to bring destruction to or harm to their own selves.
Right.
Because now they don't seek out, the truth or the knowledge of the Lord. They seek out their own ways. And their own ways do what? It depart or separate from the laws that the Lord ought us to follow.
Right.
This is why you see, he didn't choose us because we're few in number. He had a specific purpose for us. This is why when we see the things that we would say in our dying right, these black people on a whole, in general, we would say dying right. This need to address. This need to fix. This is directly within our bloodline.
Right.
But as we say, these people, other nations, it is like, now you use this to let me say, to build whatever we want. Just for the for the wealth of it, and not knowing that by doing that now it can bring destruction to everyone or everybody that is around you. Right? So the what we're reading about here, and it's after its kind, we should take and pay close attention to that.
Right.
Because what we see right now, as I say, you draw reference with the hunting season opening, right? They even draw reference to the iguana, right? The lizard, it's part of his family. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 30. And the ferret, and the chameleon, and the lizard, and the snail, and the mole.
Right? So we see a lot of these things now brought to be delicacy, around this time. And just of recent, the snail being one of them. Where, as we say, these children of Ham, or the so-called African nations, they would, say, hey, this good to eat.
Right.
Now we as a people now say, yeah, a little season, and again, season does not, would not help you when that sickness or that disease come upon you.
So like, just add a little bit onto what you're saying, you understand? Because before all this African giant snail thing come about with cooking, using it as a dish, you understand? We didn't know nothing about that. But this was, as I rightfully seen, was introduced by these Africans. You understand? These native Africans. You understand? we as a people, we have to stay away from that. You understand? When the scripture talk about the lizard going back into the iguana, you understand? When you look just before the hunting season open, a scene whereby four young men, you understand? They get hold with 15 iguanas and get I think it's about 15 charges, 15 offenses. You understand? Now they have to serve their time or go through whatever they have to go through for that. But if you as a people know that these things is not food, you understand? Then we wouldn't be running into these problems. And you understand?
Yes, so like, yeah. And
Can.
just what you're saying there, it, they even had, in the article as well now, right, that there would only be a specific time period in, let me say, hunting down these, let me say, the iguana.
Right.
Because they know that based on, just like you say, 15,
Yeah.
if you get a chance right through the year, you would hunt it out. And hear the thing about it, the people that, as we say, that predominantly run after this delicacy, black.
Right.
And again, with all these reminders, we ourselves will be running after it.
Can.
Right?
And when you do a little homework, just to understand on the lifestyle of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you understand? When you do the homework on it, you're going to realize that we are the ones that is high in all these diseases. You understand? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, you understand? Not knowing that the things that we eating is bringing on these things on us.
Right.
You understand? And when you, as you rightfully say now, I think a couple minutes earlier, you was talking about going to the physician. You understand? When they get these problems, glaucoma and gout and arthritis and all these different things, they go to the physician. For some women might be bad period pains and all these different things. When you go to the doctor telling you just eat this. Well, I think you need to stop eat that. You understand? And the list that the doctor will give is the things that the Lord tell you don't eat. You understand? All the shrimp. These things are scavengers, shrimp and shark. You understand? And catfish and all these different things. These things are bottom feeders. These things are created to do what? Clean the ocean and the rivers.
Yeah. So brothers and sisters, as you say, you like to run up to Maracas Bay to buy the favorite, bacon shark. It really, let's read and let you see the viewing public or let the nation know that there's a specific fish that is supposed to eat. Even though we just jump a little bit now, because now you highlight some that we our brothers and sisters need to know. Right?
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat that are in the water, whatsoever had fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Right. So and just that example alone, it could explain everything without us, enlightening or reminding brothers, because now with our own eyes we could see scales, we could see fins, because now as you see the fishes and them when they are being caught by the fishermen, right? They would you would see, and there's a lot of fishermen out there who could tell, hey, nah, this don't have this don't have that. This don't have, the required, let me say scale, or as you say a shrimp. They do have either. Right? So the bacon shark try to eliminate that.
Right.
Because now, as we tell brothers and sisters again, despite you not, gain or having any illness or any sickness at present, that doesn't mean to say there's a certain time that, as you say, it could, as you say, crawl upon you.
Right.
And at that time, pray that the Lord, see it fit that, you have a change of mind before it bring more harm to yourself.
Right. It's adding a little bit again, you understand? And these things, you understand, that we hear in here today, that things that we should be eating, things we shouldn't be eating. You understand? When we go to the hospital and the doctor telling you, you need to come off this meat, don't eat this meat, don't eat this red meat, this different foods, you understand? when you see things like that, you have to understand so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that we are not being taught something in these religious institutions. You understand? We supposed to be learning about the laws of the Most High, and these are the laws of the Lord. You understand? The things which we should eat, from which we shouldn't eat. These are the things of the Lord, but we are not learning these things in these institutions. You understand? Then when we're done, we have to go buy doctor this and get this herb. You understand? Take this clean out and buy this mineral water and all these different things, because now we're trying to clean ourselves of the same very things that the Lord tell us don't put in our system. You understand? The same thing Lord tell us, that these things is not food. You understand? So now, in essence, the religious institutions, they now have failed us as a people. You understand? Because look at the stage we reach at right now. Right. But we eating any and everything. You understand? Without conscience. The Lord telling us, hey, you have a rule, you black man, Hispanic man, and you Native Indian man, you have a rule you supposed to walk. You have laws, commandments, and statutes. In these laws, the Lord say, don't eat this, and these are the things that you're supposed to eat. You understand?
So before just we're bringing out, let me read about it. So you jump down to the last three from 45, right? So you can understand that we are just talking this. It is recorded in here for specific purpose.
Right? Book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 45. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy.
Right? Because we were in bondage at that time in Egypt, just like we're in bondage here right now.
Right.
When we in bondage, we walk out, we do after the customs that, as you say, of all these other people, or all these other nations. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 46. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth on the earth.
Right? So all we just read about, these are laws, these are instructions that we should follow and adhere to. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 47. To make a difference between the clean and the unclean.
Pay close attention to this, Trinidad and Tobago. So for blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, we should pay attention to this right now.
Right.
Right? So it read over that one more time.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 47. To make a difference between the clean and the unclean.
Right? In all these institutions, just as you rightfully said before, that when you enter these health facilities now, they give you a list of things that you shouldn't eat.
Right.
And you already compromise, this we're reading about here. Because now you will learn this again in any institution or organization. But you know where you can learn this? You tell brothers and sisters from family.
Right.
We, as we say, La Familia, or Hispanic or Native Indian brothers. We are family as well, sons of Jacob. Right? Go ahead.
And between the beasts that may be eaten and the beasts that may not be eaten.
Right? So it gives directives now. And at the end of the 11th chapter of Leviticus, where it is the dietary law, where you could save yourself, as you say, the trip to the position, adhere to these instructions. Seek out, the truth. Seek out, this knowledge from your family. And what family? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Where can you find, as you say, the family structure that the Lord is, as you say, right now, building in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yana. And again, this is why we make this known, that we are not affiliated, with religious groups or organizations. We are out here as young black men to enlighten, as we say, young black men as ourselves, even the elders, the importance of following these instructions. Because without these instructions, our health will diminish before our eyes, and we see some of our brothers who might be, let me say, younger, looking way older.
Right.
Because of what? Of compromising their health and following the ways and customs of these other people. right?
Okay.
So, if anybody, like to call in before, they come to the end of the program, feel free to call in,
Number to
right?
call in is 342-0081 466-5391 or 771-1791.
Right? So
You
again,
understand?
Osama Square,
Okay.
we, it's been brought out today is very informative.
Okay.
We should,
I,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so like I said, I just want to say, you know what I mean?
Mm,
When we read the book of Matthew, you see, where Christ he didn't come to destroy the law of the prophets.
right.
You understand?
Right.
Which is very important. Christ didn't come to do away with the law.
Mm-hmm.
We as a people, we had to return back to the laws of the Most High. You understand?
Okay.
Can remind Paul at the time,
Yeah.
Brother Prashad.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. We just short on the time. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why is for the last people your last question after? What about the city Johnson? Our church Johnson. Nobody Johnson.
Right. And caller, you asked a very important question, right? When we were in that same mindset as well too, right? We were at once, following after the ways of customs after these other people, and we were labeled of all Gentiles as well,
Right.
right? So the Gentile have a twofold meaning, right? You could be, Gentile, of the other nation, or you could be a so-called Black, Latino, or Native Indian, and have the spirit of these other people and be labeled as a Gentile as well.
Or I'm speaking about the Johnson of the other system.
Right.
Because just a minute. If I look at the book of Isaiah, where the Most High showing in 15 and 16 that he was seeing his people, and when it comes down to 19, he will send those who escaped the slaughter to the four corners of the coast, the still land, to those folks that have not heard my name, and to the Gentiles also. So I am seeing that the Most High, although he made no covenant with the Gentiles, his aim and objective is to get the message to the Gentiles also.
Right. And again, caller, you're bringing a valid point as well. This is why when we, right? This is why, when we draw reference in the earlier stages of the show, we enlightened or brought or highlighted that we will not be bringing this out, to the public.
Right.
So it was, this is not a secret. As all records say, this is not of any private interpretation. What we read in here is not secret. So eventually they would adhere or follow these instructions eventually, right? So the reminder that we bring in out here today is to,
But I was praying for what the scripture said. It's in Isaiah 2, verses 2 and 3. It shows us that the word of God will go forth from Jerusalem to who? To other nations.
right. And again, Paula, right? We tell brothers and sisters this, right? And I'm being direct to you, right? Without being taught truth, our mindset would always, be where we would always try, to as we say, to move away from the point, because the point that we were drawing and bringing out, and I understand you clearly, the point that we were bringing out here, everybody is going to hear about this, and they are hearing about it right now. So it's not that we shine away from what you're saying, but we enlightening everybody at present right now, right? The time up on me. Yeah, go ahead,
So like I said, in this brief because the time up on me, right? If the caller, right? Next Thursday when we coming in, we go give you the general breakdown on the Gentile. You understand? Because the time up on you right now. So we will remember your question. We really appreciate your calling in tonight. And that will be a good topic for next
Right,
week.
and if by chance your name caller, so we remember when Raymond, all right, from Tulapuna. All right. I appreciate that, Raymond. So next week we go into that, and that very good, topic as well.
Right.
I do believe that the investigative user, I do believe that the investigative user for one of the covenant
All right. So again, you give me, I appreciate your call as well. All right.
Correct, caller.
Right. So, all right. I appreciate the call.
Appreciate your call, caller.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Much thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, again, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. In this school, we teach that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they are part of the 12 lost tribe of the nation of Israel, and this Bible belongs to you, so-called Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Again, our school, light pole number 1, Morris Street, in Point Fortin.
That.
Salam.
No.
I think you're saying something about Potem. Okay? Because I think the last time you had the problem with hanging up, not the caller.
What phone you have, someone?